So the decider then, RedDragon, Haymaker. Haymaker took the first game. RedDragon had a very clear idea in the second game and successfully carried that out, which was to just make horrendous numbers of zealots and sneak into the back of his opponent's base. So let's see who is going to win this decider. I have Haymaker, the Terran, in the bottom right. I have the Protoss RedDragon in the top left. I don't know what has gone on here with this stuff. It looks pretty weird. I wonder if I get rid of it and bring it back, does it? No, that does nothing. Okay. So anyway, looks like normal openings for both these players this time. That is a very weird place for a pylon. I have no idea who builds a pylon there. I haven't a clue. But anyway, the pylon is down. As you can see, the gateway is going to be dropped shortly. Haymaker, a much more standard position for the supply depot, top of the ramp. You can see the nature of this base. You've got this expo that's incredibly easy to defend with a handful of units out the front, tucked away in there. You don't quite have to, it's not quite a pocket expand, but it's not far off. And then this third, again, park your units here and you can sit very merrily on 3 bases. So it's very much a map geared up towards fast expands, because so easy to defend your natural, so easy to defend that third. So you would kind of expect a bit of a macro game here. You would expect a sort of, let's get our bases up and running, let's get our income going, and let's tech up like an absolute boss. RedDragon is the faster to get his expand on the go. Gateway has just finished up. I don't know what we're going to see right at the front here. Maybe a forge? No one knows. Nobody knows. Yeah, it's the side core. I don't like it. I'd rather have the gateway here and the side core here. Losing the gateway, well, early game it kind of sucks a bit, but losing a side core, that's bad. So I don't know about having that right at the front of the wall. Anyway, this worker doing a little dance. Are these like blocks of? This is another map that I haven't yet played on. So I think that these are the weird grids that large units can't pass through, and small units kind of do mad stuff. So this is all new to me and pretty exciting stuff, I can tell you. Up in here, RedDragon reasonably teching up. We can see right here this little worker has come to have a peek around. We can look in the production tab up here, and you see that the command center has just not started for Haymaker, as has another barracks, and the factory is just about to finish up. So let's go and check that out. There's the factory done, and in previous games what we've seen is him go straight up to tech lab on the factory. We haven't really seen things like widow mounts. We haven't really seen things like Hellions in significant number. What we have seen, and it pleases me a lot, is Haymaker has every game sort of engineering bay into turret, and that's basically, it just goes without saying that you would do that against a Protoss, because you just never know when they're going to go for that early Stargate. So tech wise, arguably Haymaker is in the lead. Units wise, nothing, just nothing happening. On a map like this that is so easy to defend, I think I'd have preferred the command center to just be built in location down here rather than having to fly it across, but not that big a deal. The tech lab finishes up, and again, once that tech lab finishes up when you're playing Terran, the moment it finishes, you're hitting T, you're getting Stimpack researched. Unless you're playing absolutely mech and you're not going to be building any Marines at all, you always want Stimpack just as quickly as you can get it. Warp Gate for the Protoss then is underway, and finally we're beginning to see a couple of units appear on the map. There's the third, and as I was sort of saying at the beginning of the game, so easy to hold these 3 bases, and only 2 units on the map, and look how well defended already the Protoss is. So he's going to be quite safe on 3 bases, and Haymaker needs to be careful here. He is going to start falling behind in income. Isn't happening yet, do bear in mind that Terrans always have the bonus of mules, and we've seen in previous games that Haymaker is good at taking advantage of that, and that's excellent. Needs to sort that out. Yeah, needs one more incast there and two less incast there. That's a bit weird. But you know, a Protoss in 3 bases is a very dangerous thing indeed. As a Protoss player, you know, 3 bases is absolutely where you want to be. If you've got 3 mining bases, every tech path is available to you, and that is very dangerous. From the Terran point of view, you know, only having the second coming up now, that's quite a substantial way behind, and that is going to start to show once this base finishes up and once workers start being transferred. You know, building workers 3 at a time, you will be. So, you know, this base, a small base, but nevertheless, we're going to see a substantial difference. Good. So this is pleasing. Haymaker, having literally just landed this, just goes straight away up to the 3rd as well himself, and that's absolutely the right decision. So, you know, things shaping up nicely. Shaping up very nicely indeed. This Liberator is going to go and have a little look around the map, perhaps. So let's see if we can get anything done with this. You know, the line it's taking looks like it's going to go into the low side, but given where your enemy army is likely to be parked, much better off up on that high side, coming along the top of the map, because they're unlikely to be parked up in that corner. I mean, you might meet a cannon or something like that, but you probably won't meet, you know, enough stalkers to one-shot your Liberator or anything to that effect. So, not sure about the choice of angle, but let's see if we can get anything done. Liberation zone goes up, and a very quick pull is pretty decent. No. So no worker kills just yet. And you know, pretty impressed really by how quickly RedDragon managed to pull the workers. Does get 1, 2. Doesn't want to lose this Liberator for just 2 workers though. Needs to run fast. No, it's all bad. So in the end, only 2 workers killed. You know, but sometimes it isn't entirely about killing workers. Sometimes the threat is actually a powerful thing, but we don't actually see RedDragon over respond. You know, there's plenty of games I've seen where you send something like a Liberator into your opponent's base, and their response is to just like put 3 cannons here and 3 cannons here, and you know, in the end it ends up costing them like 1,000 minerals or something, and your Liberator has you've had value from it. So a couple of Marines coming across now. Maybe they're just coming to have a look. We can see Zealot Legs is being researched for the Protoss. Looks like they're just going to come up the ramp and see what kills them. And that's okay. Gets a little bit of information from that. Gets, you know, to find out sort of what is waiting at the top of this ramp. So he knows that it's a well-defended entryway. But look, medevacs being built, and these medevacs, you know, once you have 4 medevacs in here, that is 32 Marines that you could drop into this location, or if you prefer, and probably arguably better, 24 Marines and 2 siege tanks that you could drop into this location, and you could decimate this. And by the time these units get there, you know, you've already been up the ramp, you've seen what your opponent's got. He's got a few stalkers. By the time they get to here, 1, they've taken a pasting, 2, 24 Marines positioned in this area with siege tanks will have that, and 3, if it doesn't look like you're going to have it, you can get out again, but you know, you'll have slayed many workers. So I think I'd like to see a scan or something like that go down on the main base, so that he gets an idea of how vulnerable it is. Okay. Production tab, looking busy, these players, aren't they? Looking busy. You know, Haymaker working very rapidly indeed here. RedDragon's just, I don't know, maybe having a scratch. But you know, these are busy players. Look at all this stuff going on. I love it. We've got siege tanks coming out, we've got Marines coming out, we've got Marauders being built, we've got more Liberators coming out, you know, we've got upgrades going on, +1 attack, we've got Stimpack being researched, is keeping an eye on his supply, building to supply depots, And you know, both these players now on 3 bases. Let's have a look at the income tab. Hearty incomes. You can see that, you know, that earlier sort of saturation for the Protoss does mean that he's got the slightly higher income, but you know, with 3 command centers to drop mules, that won't last at all, really. Raven's now being built as well. Meanwhile, over here, the Robo Bay comes down. That's going to allow Colossus to be built. It's going to allow upgrades like speed for prisms, speed for observers, and we do see 2 Colossus, in fact, in production. 2? Yeah, 2. It does have 3 Robos, and you know, Colossus can be epic against Marines. I don't know about the pathing of these. I mean, that's just a one-way walk to death. What are you thinking? Yeah, maybe he sent them across the map and forgot about them or something, but that's not where to send them to. That's a shame, because you know, a lot of damage could have been done with a big warp in. How many gateways has he got? Let's see, where's the structures tab? Structures. So actually 7 gateways. You know, so a prism in here can throw in 7 charge lots or something like that, and they can get quite a bit done before being picked off. So Haymaker now the first to go up to a 4th base. The 4th base on this map clearly much harder to hold and defend, so things start to get interesting. We've got a lot of units making their way across the map. If we look at the army supply, a small advantage for Haymaker. Let's just have a look at these units. No air upgrades. The Marines are +1. The tanks have no upgrades. Now previously I've seen setups where people haven't kept their air units together with their ground units, and that can be lethal. You don't want your force to get all separated up here. So we need to see these liberation zones come down. Already a bunch of Marines just getting fried over there. But these zealots have been separated off, and these can die very quickly indeed, so why not kill them? You need to siege up the siege tanks. You need to set up your liberation zones here, and you need to allow your medivacs to heal those units. I want to see stims. Come out. The liberators need to be focusing either on these Colossus or setting up liberation zones. Some of that needs to be happening, but it looks like there's too much splash damage from these Colossus, and that does get cleaned up pretty happily. In the end, you know, not the cleanest of engagements from Haymaker. This tank unfortunately doesn't have vision up the ramp, so it wasn't firing at that stuff. Not the cleanest of engagements. The forces got separated on their way across the map, engaged a little bit piecemeal, and these Colossus were just dealing all sorts of death. You know, so those 3 Colossus with 27 kills between them, that's quite a lot. Okay, so that was expensive. However, he is far from out of this game. You know, he is up on that 4th base. If we look at the income tabs, huge advantage now for the Terran player. So if you're Protoss, what do? 1-1-1, better upgrades, better tech, a lot of Colossus. You need to go now. You need to march across this map right now. You know that you've done a lot of damage to your opponent's army. As a general rule in StarCraft, it's not a bad strategy to, when you move out to go across the map and attack, to drop and expand behind you. It's something to fall back on if it all goes wrong. At least you've got a reasonable economy. So, you know, if you suspect that is the case, well, then you need to act quickly before that sort of improved economy can come into effect. So, it's a big army supply advantage. Are the siege tanks sieged up? They are not, and I think Colossus are just going to win here, just raining down fire from miles away. I think Protoss has just got too much to be defeated here. Finally, the siege tank is sieged up. Another Thor coming down. You know, if he pulls these workers and repairs, puts them on auto repair. Oh no, the disruptor blasts are doing quite well there. Also, but he needs to focus these Colossus. They're the damage dealers here. Is he going to hold this? It looks like he is in the end going to hold it. You know, pull a few workers, repair these Thors, and kill these disruptors. What are they doing? Disruptors are just hanging out. I don't even know. Kill them. killed them quite quickly. Wow, I'm really surprised at what I've just seen. I don't quite understand. I mean, the army supply is still hugely in favor of RedDragon. I'm not 100% sure how he managed to not win the game there. But that's what's happened. So, you know, maybe not ideal unit placements or something like that. You know, given that the siege tanks initially weren't sieged up, yeah, you know, were there units left behind? Maybe is that what happened? This is a really high Colossus count, so you know, maybe not all the Colossus turned up or something. I don't entirely know. Anyway, this is where we're at. The supply still in favor of RedDragon fairly substantially, but the income, look at the income. The problem is he's not spending it. If we scan across the production tab, you know, we've got one siege tank building 3 marines, but look how much money you've got. You need to be building, you've got 3 factories. You need to at the very least be building siege tanks 2 at a time, ideally 3 at a time, Thors 3 at a time. You need to be churning out marines. You know, you need to be spamming that button. It all needs to be going on. You need to get through this money and turn it into firepower. However, RedDragon, having taken a bit of a licking, is gone home to sort of, I don't know, nurse his wounds and regroup. And if he gives the Terran time, he could be in danger. What's it called? The Yamato cannon for the battle cruisers is coming out. So perhaps we're going to see some battle cruisers. Just why not? Like, it's not like they're expensive or anything, you know. Why wouldn't you just queue up $2,000's worth of battle cruiser? Now battle cruisers are all right, but look how long they take to build, you know. And I just think if you know you're up against Colossus and you're a Terran player, you've got this Stargate can be pumping out Vikings 2 at a time. The range of Vikings is horrendous. I mean, a Viking can pretty much shoot you from the other side of the map. So while battle cruisers are great, you know, I'd much prefer him I'd much prefer to see Vikings coming out 3 at a time. That is going to be, I think he's just upgrading things because he's got money and he thought, well, I'll upgrade that. Not sure what it does. Okay, Thors can do well against Colossus. They have, you know, if you put them into Punisher cannons mode, they strike air targets, and Colossus are so tall that they do count as air as well as ground. So actually these Thors in with the Punisher cannons can be great, but let's see how this engagement goes. So the Marines aren't shooting, they're running about, and that is not a great start. This needs to be focusing Colossus, but look how many of them there are. It's absolutely horrendous. If he can kill all the things that shoot up and then leave his battle cruisers uncontested, that might be the best way to go. You know, so try and take out all these stalkers and then just know that you're going to eventually grind these Colossus down, but it is going to take you a while. I think he needs to be repairing that, and there is the GG. Yeah, I can't help but think that, you know, had he been pumping out Vikings 3 at a time in the time taken to build that one battle cruiser, we happily could have seen, you know, 9 Vikings, and 9 Vikings pretty much one-shot Colossus, don't they? So, you know, he could have just popped his way through these. It was a good game, though. Close. So, I like what I'm seeing from these players. Some good high-level play, nice range of units, and a nice variety of strategies as well. So, yeah, I'm liking it. Things are shaping up nicely in round 2. GG.